Give us some juice on something. A scene that you did that was.
The scene with Scott on NCIS.
Hi, and welcome to Kelly, where we talk about life, your life and my life, and through Kelly, we hope to inspire. I have Lorenzo Yerby on the show today. Thank you for being here, Lorenzo.
Thank you for having me.
Lorenzo has been on shows such as NCIS, he's been on Valor, and the Emmy Award-winning Atlanta.
Yes.
So tell us about some of these shows and what was your experience?
My experience, especially working with Donald Glover and Scott on NCIS, it's amazing when you go on these shows and you're just starting your acting career and stuff. So you're going on these shows, you know, with these big time people, whatever, but they treat you just like they're contemporary, and or at least with Scott and Donald, that's one thing I really appreciated about them. They're like, you're my scene partner, so we're working together. They don't treat you like the beginning actor that's, you know, just coming on out of nowhere. So
Awesome.
It was, really exciting.
Awesome. Give us some juice on something. A scene that you did that was.
The scene with Scott on NCIS. Like I was saying, you know, in my mind, I'm coming on, you know, I'm trying to get my reel up, get my resume up and all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, I'm just looking to make their life easier. And I knew I was going to be in the scene with him, you know, the lead actor on the show. And we have this one scene that it didn't make the final cut that way, but it's a really intense scene when I'm working with Scott, this veteran actor, and I got to stare him down, and I'm pretty much trying to intimidate him. And it's almost intimidating working, you know, with somebody of his caliber. But I had to stare him down like he was the little guy and I was the big guy, you know. So it was very interesting,
and even in those moments, you feel that intensity, right?
Yeah, you feel the intensity, and you have to make it real, you know, because like we always say, acting is being, is not acting. So I really have to, you know, act like I'm in charge of this guy. You know, I'm actually the federal marshal. You listen to me, I don't listen to you. So it's a crazy experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you have a really cool philosophy. One of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show, and I have normally a reason for having each individual person on the show. Yours is because you have a greater mission just than being an actor. You want to use your acting to influence young men.
Exactly, yeah.
In your community. So tell us about that and tell us why you have such a passion to do that.
I have such a passion to do it because of just where I grew up. I don't have time to look for euphemisms, what we call the hood or, you know, urban area and stuff. And so the things I saw growing up and looking at how my friends and my peers, you know, acted because of the stuff they saw in movies and trying to emulate that and, you know, have the guns and the gangster stuff and all that kind of stuff. When I got older, I realized that I'm a minority. So even though we're a small community, anytime I do something, it represents the whole entire community. So there's been a number of roles, a lot of auditions that I've turned down, even role offers. I've been offered roles and like, no, I can't do that. One time I flew out of town. Caught the flight out of town. We were doing the table read and I got the full script and I looked at it and I was like, wait, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And I told him, I called my agent and said, I'm headed back home. I said, I know they're probably not going to like me for this, but they're going to have to recast because it's very important to me, the images that we put on screen, because that's what people believe about African-American men. So I'm very a stickler about what roles I choose because I realize that I'm representing the entire community.
I think it's important for everybody. I mean, even women. We have so many roles and we stereotype ourselves into a very sexual role, and then we wonder why everybody looks at us like sex objects.
I mean,
and that's all we get.
You pigeonhole yourself and you don't realize it because at the time most people say I want to book the role, and I hear a lot of actors saying, but listen man, let me talk to you. And they talk to me like I haven't been doing this as long as I've been doing this. So like, let me sit you down and realize it's just a role, you're just acting. But I say you'll pigeonhole yourself, and then when you start getting typecast, you can't get upset about it because you've built that image of yourself and of your community. And like I said, the auditions I get are nothing like what my other non-African American actors are getting. And I'm like, what role did you get? And I'm looking at the roles they're getting. I'm like, I can get 6 auditions a week, and at least 4 of them will have the exact word in them, thug. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't want to, you know, do that to my community just because I want to make a quick paycheck.
Yeah, you have a greater mission, and you also realize that if you do, you know, pull yourself up to a higher standard, it's going to permeate your environment and give value to what you're doing. But you have to sacrifice a lot to do that.
A lot of sacrifice.
So you have a film that you wrote and directed called Selfless, and it's actually about your life. And I sat down and watched it the other day, and I was really surprised. You say when your post on Facebook, you say, you know, this was shot, I didn't have really the money or the budget to put in it like I wanted to, but your actors are wonderful and your storyline is great. And there were times that I had tears because of the compassion of the story. And then I texted you and I said, oh my gosh, I'm in tears. And you said something back to me and I said, I don't remember, but then you let me know that it was actually about your life.
Yeah. So what happened was, I'm trying to make this quick. As I was saying, I want to represent my community better. So one thing you do, if you can't accept these roles, you have to start creating your own content. So one day I sat myself down. I said, I'm going to write a script in an hour, and whatever I have at the end of that hour, I'm going to shoot it. And so what I did was, I don't have time to go into that, but it's called a shot list. It's like the day of shooting, you say, we're going to shoot it this way. But I took a shot list and made a story out of it instead of the reverse. And so I said, I want to shoot an action scene. I want to shoot this kind of scene. I was like, well, how are you going to make this a script? And the time was ticking. So I started pulling from different places in my own life and somehow chronologically it sort of became a film. So it wasn't even written like a narrative. It was actually a shot list. And I was like, okay, here's the action scene, here's this scene, and all that kind of stuff.
What I love is that it's a story of desperation, but there are so many moments of hope. There's laughter. The one that comes to my mind is a little boy in the mirror, and he's doing the little dance, and the other little boy is fixing the last bit of food that they have in the house.
Exactly.
And I think life is really like that. Even when you're in desperate times, you find those moments of hope and those moments of happiness.
Yeah.
And those are the things that keep us going and keep us alive and keep us fighting for more.
Yeah. You have to make the best of what you have, even when it's little. Like I don't know if it was clear in the film, but the thing was they only had string beans left to fix. And so he made it in a heart shape for her, just something to lighten her mood, even though it was a lot to eat. And, like him dancing in the mirror, he's still happy with, his life and having his family around him, even though they were poor. So,
yeah. That's awesome. So I have for you a gift. You said, did you say, I read almonds and I read Snickers, and then I found almond Snickers.
Yeah, I love those.
That's awesome.
I love the peanut ones too, but after you get the almond ones, it's kind of hard to go back.
Okay, well, I threw a couple peanut ones in there in case I was wrong. But so, Lorenzo, that's to remind you that you're a gift in life. You're a gift to us.
Oh my goodness!
And and I love what you're doing. I know that it's a struggle, and I know that you have a hard road. And you've been on a hard road, but that hard road is going to pay off because you're extremely talented. You've already landed some really cool roles, and you'll keep striving higher and higher. And I can't wait. 10 years down the road, I'm going to say, Lorenzo.
2 years down the road.
2 years. But I'm talking about when you're. I'm talking about when you're a great big.
Oh, I got you.
Star.
You're right.
Yeah.
I hear you.
If you have any advice to give to people journeying down your road, I really want you to think back when you first started, even into your childhood. What advice would you give men, young boys?
Be in control of who you are and the image of yourself. One thing I talk about a lot of times, I'll try to make everything quick. There are a lot of images that we say that we as blacks, especially black men, we say this is our culture, but we don't realize that years ago that was pushed on us. Like, even we always feel like we have to be tough or whatever, but that's from like 1920s films when they were making the African American men look like the scary guy, to the white women or whatever, from 1930s or whatever TV started or whatever. So we've carried that over generations thinking that's who we are, but we allowed somebody else to tell us who we are. So you want to be in control of who you are, your self-identity, and don't let anybody else tell you what you are, whether it be hip hop, the media, even women feeling some type of way because of all the stuff that there's, like you said, it's us, it's women too. Sexualized objects, taking ribs out and all this kind of stuff. And be who you are, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
be in control of your own.
We've got to get to that point where we love ourselves, because if not, we're just opening ourselves to more and more hurt. Exactly. And you see how hurt the world is. Yeah. And I think it takes people to stand up and say, let's heal this. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being on the show and for being here. I can't wait for the audience to meet you.
Yeah.
You're a delight. You're a friend. And let's cheers.
I've been fighting tears the whole time.
Here,
But
here, cheers. Cheers
all right.
to us.
Yes.
Thank you for being here on Kelly, and we hope that this segment inspired and educated you.